do we go from here?
This is our first episode of Where Do We Go From Here, African Americans in the 21st Century. And as we shall, we're going to do our first episode on the great Martin Luther King.
The great
Martin
Dr.
Luther King. Martin Luther King. And so Anton is probably one of the most educated black men I've ever met in my life,
What?
especially when it comes to contemporaries.
Oh,
so
wow.
shout
you.
out to you.
Thank you, sister.
And so I'm going to get a couple of questions for you because I feel like I can learn so much from you and our audience can learn so much. I know that there's a lot of information in that wonderful head of yours.
Yes.
So I'm going to whittle it down to...
Say, squeeze it. Squeeze it. All right.
Exactly. So if there were three things that you think that we need to know now about MLK, what would those three things be?
The first thing will be that Dr. King, he didn't die in 1963.
What?
So much of what we know about Dr. King is tapered off with his I Have a Dream speech.
Right.
However, this is a defining moment in American history because they also marched for jobs and justice.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King didn't walk with so many people that supported him and come to the foot of the Lincoln Monument to talk about a dream that he had.
Right.
Dr. King came to make sure that he was addressing the economic injustice as well as the racial injustice in the United States.
Right.
But there's a trajectory that goes on after 63
Okay.
when he starts to see that the legislation is not moving fast enough.
Right.
So there's a trajectory in which he's moving more towards what would be defined as black power.
Right. Because we tend to think of it separate, right?
Yeah.
There was the civil rights movement and the black power movement, and you got MLK on one end, and you got Malcolm X on the other, just like we had W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. So you're telling me that MLK kind of transitioned, or was it more of like he spoke a higher truth? Well, what was it?
I mean, all we have to do is look at the individuals who were surrounding him.
Mm-hmm.
You have Stokely Carmichael.
Right.
You have Willie Ricks.
And a little bit, some people might not know those people, so break it down for them.
They were individuals who were in SNCC. It was
Which is Student Nonviolent
Coordinating Committee.
Right.
And it was actually Willie Ricks who in Greenwood, Mississippi was like, hit him, baby, hit him with it.
With
And
what?
Black Power.
Oh,
Black Power. So when
what?
Stokely Carmichael was saying Black Power and
Yeah.
people are chanting and he provokes them, Willie Rick is behind that. But these are individuals who, when you look at the pictures, they're surrounding Dr. King.
Right.
They may have disagreements with his methodology and his ideology, but it evolves. But also, the late, great Marion Barry, he's also there, too.
Yeah.
And we see the cultural identity and the politics that he brought to Washington, D.C. So
Right.
Dr. King, he's instrumental within that space in that bubble, too, because you don't see the trajectory that goes from
Right.
the civil rights movement to
now.
the Black Power movement without Dr. King as being sort of a conduit
Right.
in order for these various ideologies and individuals to
manifest.
I guess, oscillate
Yeah.
around one another.
Right. It's kind of like we, especially being 80s babies, like we got the postage stamp, you got like the great images and everybody's like, MLK, woohoo.
Yeah.
Every January we get to, because we have a national holiday. We didn't
Yeah.
have a national holiday before, right?
Right.
So the image that we have of MLK is like this. But you're saying is like if we pan out, there's a lot more to him and to the story and to the message. So what's the second thing you want us to know about him?
That Dr. King, he was a gun owner.
Oh, so tell us about that. Yeah,
Dr.
2A.
Yeah. Dr. King, he owned a gun. He believed in self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Southerner. He's part of a long tradition of African Americans who had to carry guns
To defend themselves.
against these Ku Klux Klan members, the white terror that was spread throughout the South.
Which were members of the Democratic Party, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, the late 19th century to the 1960s, the Democratic Party, and then
We're
it
highly
switches.
racist.
It
yes.
switches, yeah.
It didn't switch,
But-
but it's okay. We can talk about that in another episode.
That's another episode. But Dr. King, he was a gun owner, and a lot of people, they take him outside of his African American cultural identity.
Right.
When you remove him from that culture and you present him as just an American, you'll fail to see that there are certain
Like the fullness
subtleties
of
who he was.
Yeah, yeah.
And reshaping him as an American martyr, you sort of strip him of
Of his
everything,
humanity.
of his humanity,
Right.
and of his culture.
Right.
So Dr. King did not live outside of his culture. He was very much a part of
Right.
his culture. He was a black man. And for
Yeah.
me as another African-American man, it was hard for me to identify with Dr. King.
Yeah, you were telling me about
Yeah,
that.
because Dr. King, he's presented as this perfect being, this
Christian book,
Christian
right?
man
Yeah.
who exuded all these high qualities. But
Yeah.
people, you read books by Abernathy and other individuals, they'll say that Dr. King had a great sense of humor.
For real?
Oh man, they said Dr. King had a great sense of humor. He would crack
Cracking
jokes
jokes.
and everything.
That's amazing.
You know, so it's like when you take him outside of his cultural bubble and then you try to present him back to black people, you're like, well, who is this guy?
So basically, now he's such an icon, they had to purify him.
They have to purify him. It's like jazz music. If a kid
Yeah, man.
today they think about jazz music, they might say Kenny G or Michael Bolton, but
Well, they
don't-
can't handle the Miles Davis.
Yeah, they can't handle the Miles Davis or the Coltrane.
Yeah.
Because it's been repackaged.
Oh, yeah.
It's been sanitized.
That's messed up
Stripped.
from its authenticity.
My sister.
So, is there a third thing that you want people to know about him?
The third thing that everyone should know that in
Exactly.
1999, that the
What?
government was found guilty
What?
in the conspiracy to kill Dr. Martin Luther King.
What you talking about? 1999.
1999, when the world was talking about Y2K and all these
Uh-huh,
other
I remember
things.
that.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna end. The
that
computers
panic-
can't.
in that
we
panic-
understand. I remember
that
that.
panic in December, they
We gotta,
snuck
like-
it in. And as Coretta Scott King said, I think that if people will look at the evidence that we have, it's conclusive. And I think the Justice Department has a responsibility to do what it feels is the right thing to do, the just thing to do. That basically, with 6 blacks and 6 whites deliberated for 3 hours before returning the verdict in the civil rights lawsuit brought by the King family, that the government was responsible for facilitating this error, this conspiracy that led to the assassination of Dr. King.
So let me get this right. In 1999,
Yes.
the government was found. The United States government, the United States federal government, was found guilty for assassinating MLK.
A cover-up following the assassination in Memphis in 1968 involved the FBI, the CIA, the media, and Army intelligence, as well as many state and city officials.
Wow. And so from 1999 to what we are at 2018,
It's a blip
Even
on the
e-
radar.
right. So that goes to our next question. So you ready for the next question?
What's that?
Why do you think the message changed?
You had the only individual who believed in y'all.
Right.
Like Dr. King was the ones that kept telling us to love y'all and not to be angry at y'all. And y'all killed him.